In the heart of the Jordanian desert, Petra rises from the sandstone cliffs, a city carved by an ingenious people. Caravans traverse the narrow canyons, their traders and guards vigilant against the unforgiving desert. Ingenious engineers of the Nabataeans carved channels and cisterns harnessing precious water from the desert. From wandering tribes, the Nabataeans built a thriving hub of trade where goods from Arabia met the Mediterranean world. Every carved stone tells the story of a people who mastered both the desert and their own artistry. Trade routes carved by generations carried incense, spices, and stories across the desert. Under the wise rule of Aretas IV, Petra flourished, becoming a beacon of wealth and innovation in the desert. In this desert sanctuary, the Nabataeans proved that even in harsh lands, ingenuity and vision could create wonders that endure. Around 400 BC, wandering tribes from Arabia began arriving in the fertile valleys of what would become Petra. These nomads adapted quickly, learning where to find water and shelter amidst harsh desert terrain. The women of the tribes worked tirelessly, gathering resources and preparing for settlements. Over time, they began constructing more permanent settlements along the valley floors. Early engineers explored ways to channel water from the cliffs, essential for desert survival. Even the youngest members of the tribes learned to navigate the harsh landscape, playing among goats and tents. Bartering and trade began within the tribes, laying foundations for more complex commerce. They studied the cliffs and terrain, envisioning structures that would one day become Petra. Communities formed as families, settled, sharing resources and daily tasks. Primitive agriculture began using clever methods to bring life to the desert soil. Their ingenuity with water systems would define the Nabataeans' ability to thrive in arid lands. As the sun set, the desert tribes gathered around fires, forging bonds that would shape their future. Even at this early stage, some foresaw the potential of trade routes linking Arabia to distant lands. Connections with neighboring civilizations like the Edomites and Moabites began to influence the Nabataeans. From wandering desert tribes, the Nabataeans began to carve their destiny into the rocks. Night fell over the valley, marking the end of a day in the early Nabataean settlement as their journey in the desert continued. At the break of dawn, Nabataean caravans began their journey across the desert, carrying precious incense and spices. Skilled guards protected the valuable goods from bandits in harsh desert conditions. Every camel carried not just goods but wealth and influence across the desert. Merchants meticulously organized their cargo, ensuring precious incense and spices were accounted for. Vigilant guards scanned the horizon, ever watchful for rival raiders or wild animals. Stations along the route facilitated trade and allowed caravans to rest and replenish. Warehouses in Petra stored goods awaiting shipment along the Incense route. Caravans stretched for miles, moving steadily toward distant markets. Local tribes assisted in guiding camels across treacherous terrain, forming a network of reliable partners. Oases were critical stops where caravans replenished water and supplies. Checkpoints allowed the Nabataeans to collect taxes and monitor trade along the route. The routes were perilous but well-known, carved into cliffs and valleys. Alliances with neighboring tribes ensured safe passage and continuity of trade. Careful records were kept of goods moving through Petra, ensuring order and accountability. Even across endless dunes, the value of their cargo demanded vigilance and skill. The Nabataeans' knowledge of the land allowed them to navigate even the trickiest passes safely. At trade stations, taxes were collected and records maintained to regulate commerce. Caravans moved steadily, each animal carrying treasures of the desert. Collaboration between tribes and merchants ensured safe transport of precious goods. Returning home caravans brought wealth and news from distant lands back to Petra. Petra flourished as a hub where traders from Arabia, Gaza, and beyond converged. Under the guidance of Aretas IV, Petra's economy became organized and prosperous. Guards ensured that even treacherous cliff paths were safely navigated. Goods were cataloged carefully, ready for shipment along the incense routes to distant cities. Multiple caravans crossed the desert in synchrony, connecting Petra to Gaza and Alexandria. Arriving caravans were quickly unloaded, their precious cargo ready for market or storage. Petra's streets bustled with merchants exchanging goods, news, and culture from across the desert. Through skillful trade and strategic planning, the Nabataeans transformed Petra into a thriving desert empire. In a land where water was more precious than gold, the Nabataeans turned stone into life-giving reservoirs. Artisans carved intricate channels and cisterns to capture and store precious rainwater. Teams of engineers and laborers transported stone to build cisterns and reservoirs throughout the city. The famous treasury facade was not only decorative, but incorporated practical water conduits hidden in stone. Every cistern was precisely calculated to collect and conserve rainwater efficiently. Transporting stone across steep terrain required coordinated effort and ingenious engineering. Hellenistic architectural influence blended seamlessly with Nabataean style in monumental buildings. Stone channels guided water from the mountains down to cisterns, irrigating terraces and gardens. Ingenious systems controlled water flow, preventing overflow and erosion in the desert floods. Merchants appreciated the engineering feats which ensured reliable water for commerce and daily life. Even steps and pathways incorporated subtle drainage systems to manage rare desert rains. Engineers carefully designed channels to lead water efficiently across long distances. Terraces captured rainwater and soil, allowing limited cultivation even in arid zones. Even monumental facades served dual purposes of beauty and functionality. Overflow systems prevented destructive flooding, a necessity in desert canyons. Hillsides were transformed with precise engineering, channeling water to multiple levels. Completed cisterns were marvels of engineering, storing life-giving water for the city. The integration of engineering and architecture ensured both practicality and grandeur. Every detail was meticulously planned, from grand facades to subtle drainage channels. Precision in construction allowed water to flow seamlessly through the city. Terraces and walls contained water, preventing erosion and maximizing utility. The treasury was both a monument and a testament to Nabataean ingenuity. Engineers coordinated labor to ensure every stone contributed to the city's water system. Working together, the Nabataeans shaped stone into functional and enduring structures. Completed cisterns stored vital water, ensuring the city thrived in the desert. Every carved surface was part of an intricate network blending art with utility. The integration of engineering, architecture, and urban planning exemplified Nabataean mastery. In the desert, ingenuity turned stone into life, sustaining Petra for generations. By 100 BC, Petra had risen as a thriving hub of commerce and culture. Merchants and traders from across the desert converged here, exchanging wealth and news. Guards ensured the security of trade, protecting caravans and merchants alike. Diplomatic and trade relations extended to Rome, Alexandria, and neighboring kingdoms. Nabataean coins circulated widely, symbolizing economic power and political stability. Artisans decorated monuments with intricate carvings blending Hellenistic and Nabataean styles. Goods flowed through Petra's streets, connecting caravans to markets within the city and beyond. Engineers maintained the city's infrastructure, ensuring water and trade routes functioned flawlessly. The heart of Petra pulsed with commerce, artistry, and diplomacy. Water infrastructure supported the city's prosperity, enabling bustling markets and gardens. Trade with foreign merchants brought wealth and exotic goods to Petra. Strategic planning under the king ensured Petra remained a dominant economic center. Temples and tombs reflected the wealth and artistic achievement of the Nabataeans. Caravans moved seamlessly through Petra, bringing goods from distant lands. Knowledge of terrain and careful planning ensured safe transport and thriving trade. Merchants organized their goods meticulously to facilitate commerce within the city. The king's presence reinforced both political authority and economic stability. Artistic works adorned the city, signaling wealth and cultural sophistication. Connections to Rome and Alexandria strengthened Petra's role as a trade nexus. Infrastructure supported both daily life and the city's thriving commerce. Caravans returned laden with goods and wealth, reinforcing Petra's prominence. Efficient organization ensured smooth flow of commerce through city streets. The king's oversight guaranteed security and prosperity across the city. Artisans completed statues and reliefs that symbolized Petra's wealth and culture. Even at sunset, trade continued, ensuring the city's lifeblood never ceased. Petra wasn't just a city, it was a statement of power carved into the cliffs. The Nabataean kingdom reached its zenith with wealth, diplomacy, and artistry intertwined. The city thrived, a testament to the vision and ingenuity of the Nabataeans. In 106 AD, Roman legions annexed Nabataean lands, forming the province of Arabia Petraea. Trade patterns began to shift under Roman rule, altering the city's bustling economy. Even with Roman oversight, the desert's harsh conditions took a toll on Petra's infrastructure. Erosion and natural wear began to damage monumental facades and public works. The flow of caravans decreased as trade routes lost importance, leaving streets emptier than before. Water systems fell into disrepair, making daily life and agriculture increasingly difficult. Fewer caravans traversed the desert. Petra's role as a trade hub diminished. Merchants who once thrived here began to leave, seeking opportunities elsewhere. Severe weather, including flash floods, began to challenge the city's survival. Natural disasters gradually forced some areas of Petra to be abandoned. Even the might of empires could not halt the desert's slow reclaiming of stone and sand. Art and architecture suffered as human presence dwindled and nature took its toll. What was once a thriving city slowly quieted under the desert Sunday. Few remained to witness Petra's grandeur as the city faced gradual decline. Nature reclaimed the stones as trade dwindled and human activity faded. Even empires can't stop the desert's slow reclaiming of stone and sand. Petra stands as a testament to Nabataean ingenuity, its architecture and trade systems remarkable for their time. The monumental facades, cisterns, and carvings reflect centuries of skill and artistry. Water systems and infrastructure influence generations, a legacy of engineering brilliance. Inscriptions left behind whisper stories of trade, culture, and governance. In 1812, Johann Ludwig Burckhardt rediscovered Petra, bringing the city back to the world's attention. His notes and observations unveiled the grandeur of Nabataean civilization to Europe. Modern archaeologists continue to uncover inscriptions and structures, revealing the city's history. The ingenious engineering of channels and cisterns ensured survival in a harsh desert. Artistic achievements endured from tombs to temples, blending culture and practicality. Scholars study Nabataean inscriptions, learning about trade governance and daily life. His rediscovery sparked global interest, bringing Petra into historical consciousness. The legacy of trade and commerce resonates through the city's stones, telling tales of prosperity. Infrastructure developed by Nabataeans influenced future civilizations in the region. Ongoing excavations continue to reveal Petra's ingenuity and resilience. Though the empire vanished, the stones of Petra whisper stories of wealth, ingenuity, and resilience. Petra's legacy endures, a silent testament to the brilliance of the Nabataeans. From wandering desert tribes to a thriving commercial empire, Petra tells the story of resilience and ingenuity. Under wise leadership, the Nabataeans transformed stone into both shelter and statement of power. Even as trade routes shifted and empires changed, the city's ingenuity remained evident. The engineering and artistry of the Nabataeans continue to inspire awe centuries later. Petra's stones whisper stories of wealth, innovation, and survival in the harsh desert. Subscribe to Civilizations Uncovered to explore more lost empires and the legacies they left behind.